Right, hello and welcome to the Final Whistle podcast. My name is Harry and I'm joined by Bobby. We are here eventually after a few technical issues on Zoom, trying to join the call and password's not working. But finally we got here. Today's episode, we're going to be talking all about Manchester United and the current situation there. This will be coming out on Friday, what's the date tomorrow? 26th. So any news there, we might be slightly behind, but hopefully we get there. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sacked after a 4-1 loss to Watford last week. It was about a 3-year spell as manager at United. Do you think United were right to sack him after that result? And also, do you think it was the correct timing for it? Because they could have done it weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was going to come at any time, wasn't it? Like, it was obviously terrible management from United to decide to wait 2 weeks over the international break to leave him in the job, have one game back, lose, and then sack him. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, it was all, we knew it was coming at some point. There was no way he was going to turn that ship around. It was just hope at that point, and blind hope from the owners and stuff. So yeah, now he's gone.
It's interesting to think that he came in. Obviously, it was after Mourinho was sacked as an interim, and then came over and took them for 3 years, which is quite a long time in management at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Do you think Ollie's time can be reflected as, obviously not silverware wise, but do you think it can be considered successful for the club?
I would say partially, yeah. I think at the minute it will obviously be looked on as, obviously you're going to see the negatives right now because of the bad form they've had and, you know, the lack of silverware. But I think when you look at United's team from when he inherited it to what it is, and obviously when he inherited, they still had quality players and they were still a good team. Obviously they came second under Mourinho, but he hasn't left the team in a bad state, I would say. You know, obviously you made some great signings. You know, Bruno Fernandes is one of them. We have to give him credit for. That's a fantastic signing that he's got really right there. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka's been a bit shaky recently, but obviously we know he's on his day. He's a good player. So yeah, I think definitely, you know, improved young players like you got Greenwood and Rashford. Obviously, he's made Luke Shaw look like a better at times, even though he's had a bit of a shaky season. But yeah, I would say that he's left the team in an okay situation, definitely better than I think some people give him credit for.
Yeah, I think one of the key things as well that a lot of the pundits have said, former United players, is that he's restored them back to maybe the way that Sir Alex Ferguson left it, with the atmosphere around the club, or brought took away the laughing stock until, like Liverpool 5-0 and all that. But it was interesting. The ideas come up that Manchester United players tried to get Ollie sacked. I don't know whether you've seen this, the video, the Bruno Fernandes penalty that he skied, and then the way Ronaldo, that he hasn't missed a penalty. Apart from that, he didn't do the little jump beforehand.
I mean, I don't know, because you've seen the video of the Watford game where Bruno was like trying to show that it was the players and not the manager. I don't know if you've seen that, but I don't think he would do that. I think he probably has a lot of respect for Ollie. Obviously, he was the manager that signed him to bring him into United. So I think he's too much of a professional to do that on purpose, if I'm honest. So
yeah, because people had likened it to Steven Gerrard when he was at Liverpool and Roy Hodgson was manager, and they did like the exact same thing, skied the penalty, and then they went, "Oh, well done on missing the penalty," and then he got sacked. Some players did seem to just give up, I think. I mean, Harry Maguire seemed to deliberately be trying to get Ollie sacked, whether that was on purpose or not. It was just awful period for him. Yeah, against Albania, and then to just be as dreadful as he was, honestly. But Michael Carrick is the interim. Well, sorry, he's the interim manager. Before they hire the interim. He won against Villarreal midweek Champions League. I think it was 2-0 in the end.
Yeah, I know. Carrick's of the will, mate.
It is. Chelsea, Arsenal coming up. What do you think of his appointment? Because a lot of people are saying him and Darren Fletcher should have left with Ollie because they're all at fault for the way that it's been going at the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is strange because usually when a manager leaves, their coaching staff leaves. I don't know how it works exactly. I don't know, the whole idea of coaching staff, whether they actually do stay with the manager or they stay with the club. Because I know obviously Arteta has his coaching.
Yeah,
team.
I think Carrick was there with Mourinho, so Carrick was there before Ollie anyway.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
maybe he's not.
They just have a set team. I think that could be a bad idea because maybe you want the manager to come in with his own people and his own ideas, which is probably what I think will happen if a manager comes in, whoever it might be. I don't think Pochettino is going to go to United. I think a lot of people do think he is. I don't think he will do. Don't think he's good enough, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure who they have lined up. I know they have a manager lined up as an interim. I don't know the
Yeah,
name.
yeah, I've got
I
it
can't
down here.
remember.
So the interim names have obviously that been floated about. Ernesto Valverde, that used to be at Barcelona, has been linked. Rudy Garcia, Steve Bruce has
Yeah.
offered his services to the club.
I saw more
Sean,
of a concrete one
yeah, we go.
recently.
Former RB Leipzig manager Ralf Ragnick set to take the
Oh yeah,
role.
there we go.
A deal that would see him take up a role as a senior consultant for 2 years
Okay.
at the end of the season. Um, do you think it's a good idea for United to have this stabilization before they can potentially get whoever they're going for permanently, and then to fill a director of football role? Or do you think they're going to possibly fall into the trap that they did with Ollie of the interim? Oh, well, let's just give him the job.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sort of depends because a lot of the time, what you might do is you have, I say, what Arsenal did when we sacked Emery, is you have somebody from deeper down within the club, like Freddie Lundberg, who worked with the youth academy, just to sort of, just get you through that period of difficulty because they're always going to be that period when you sack your manager. So I think you have to look at, who is going to come in and steady the ship, and are they looking for an interim that could become a manager? Are they looking for somebody within the club just to set it going and maybe leave Carrick in the job? Because I don't think he'll become the manager. So yeah, I think it all depends on what United actually want to do because we don't know whether they want to go for a big name manager or they want to do another project and carry on with, what Ale was trying to build with bringing in the youth and stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely see, but it sort of depends on where they want to go with it. They could do it in a few different ways.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fabrizio's saying that Ralf Ragnick's going to take the role up.
Yeah.
Personally, I had to Google him a bit to find out. I knew his name, but I didn't know much about him. He was the one that took Leipzig from like Bundesliga 3 up to the Bundesliga. Apparently he's
Okay.
brilliant tactician. He was, there's the Gegenpress style that's talked about quite a
Yeah.
lot. He basically invented that. And helped develop coaches such as Tuchel, Nagelsmann, and Hasenhüttl. So obviously very good at what he does. But
Yeah.
people are saying what it might be is they're not sure how much management he'll do because apparently at previous clubs he's kind of like directed people on what to be coached. So he'll tell the coaches what to do and then let them do that. And then I presume I make the deals. But it would seem quite a good steady one because I'm sure this guy, if he's got a deal lined up at the end of the season to take a higher up role, means he's not eyeing up the manager's role.
Yeah.
Do you think this idea of the interim is that they weren't expecting to sack Ollie, and so they didn't have anyone lined up, and whoever they want isn't available at the minute?
Yeah. I mean, obviously they've panicked. It makes no sense. Like they wanted Conte. Conte was there, but they didn't get rid of Ole, so they obviously wanted Ole, but now Ole's gone and they don't have Conte. So like, I don't get what exactly they were trying to achieve. Maybe they should have just kept Ole for the rest of the season. I don't know because he would have. I think he would have done okay. He might not have got a top four, but obviously that's not okay for United standards. But it's not like I think they would have finished fairly okay. Maybe got into deep into some sort of competition. But yeah, I don't know. It's really, really strange. I don't know what their plan is. Nobody knows.
I think obviously it's really poorly managed the way that they did it. But the minute the lining up seems to be obviously Pochettino's been linked heavily. Eric Ten Hag, the Ajax manager, as well being linked. Zidane was the favorite originally, but his wife doesn't want to move to Manchester, so he's not going. He wants the France or PSG job, which could come up depending on what Pochettino does. And then Brendan Rodgers as well, the name in there. But it's also a £20 million compensation for Brendan Rodgers, which is just ridiculous. A lot of people, obviously, it's going to be Poch, or a lot of people want Ten Hag. Do you think? I mean, you said before Pochettino wouldn't. You don't think it would happen. Why? What do you think that is?
I don't really know. Maybe just because of his history with Tottenham, but maybe I don't know. He doesn't have an affiliation for Tottenham anymore, and he's gone. So maybe he just wants to take up the role. I think it'd be a bad signing for Manchester United, because what does it show about Pochettino when he's just skipping through the jobs? Like he's gone to PSG and then he's suddenly leaving. That shows to Man United that he's not really committed to the role that he takes on, and he's not like, he's gone to PSG. He's failed in his first season ultimately. He's not won the league. He's failed to get anywhere in the Champions League. He's not got his team playing very well. You got Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe not registering any sort of defensive. I was looking at like their defensive work rates, and you just got those three stood at the top. They've got like the 28th most goals conceded, most shots conceded in the Champions League, the 27th most shots faced, I think, and like their defensive stats are terrible. So I'm just thinking, what are Man United looking at and seeing in Pochettino that makes them think that he's going to improve them? Because I don't know what he's actually going to bring to the team. Whereas I think somebody like Ten Hag, who admittedly I don't know much about, but obviously he's got, a good Ajax team playing quite well. So yeah, I think it'd be better off if they went for somebody other than Pochettino, to be honest, because I don't know how good he actually is, and I don't know if he's suited to bring them forwards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they'll probably be looking at what he did at Tottenham, because supposedly they've wanted him for 5 years, but the timing's never linked up to get him.
Okay.
But it's a bit of an excuse. But I think when you look at the difference with Tottenham is he came in at Tottenham and had to rebuild over like 4 or so years. You're not going to get that time at Man United.
No, he's not.
But
he doesn't really need to rebuild. He's got the team in front of him. He just needs to sign a few players.
It's supposedly that Pochettino likes to add his style to and put in a philosophy, which he hasn't been able to do at PSG, because at PSG he's the head coach and you go into the PSG philosophy, not change it. So maybe that's the issue there. I think one of the key factors, whoever comes in, is going to be trying to deal with Ronaldo, because arguably that was the worst thing for Ollie's managerial job at United, was Ronaldo coming in. It wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah.
And the ego and everything and the power he holds at United was never going to work out for Ollie. It was interesting that Ronaldo, said that his suggested his favorite candidate is Luis Enrique, the Spain boss. I think he said he's going to stay until the World Cup. But do you think he would be a good choice? Obviously, Ronaldo's putting forward.
He could be. I don't know. He was the Barcelona manager as well. I'm not sure how good he did. I think he was okay as Barcelona manager. He did quite well. I don't know what they won. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I know that he's got Spain, playing fairly well. He could be a shout. I mean, something a bit different. Obviously, we've seen a lot of teams go for some of these managers that have played in the Premier League before. Obviously, you got Tottenham going for Mourinho and Conte, and then United going for Pochettino, as well. So yeah, maybe it could be better if they go for somebody that hasn't got Premier League experience, a bit of fresh blood into the league.
It's interesting because I think United have now gone through all the mega manager approach of Mourinho and Van Gaal. They've gone for the totally unexperienced and done averagely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They need to try and find someone that's actually going to work for them and work with the squad. Because I think if Ronaldo hadn't have joined and it would have stuck to the plan that Ole had supposedly of putting Greenwood into a striker, then it might have actually worked out for him. But
yeah, it could have done.
But I'm sure we'll never find out.
No.
But that's 4 managers after Sir Alex is now obviously left. Not much to show apart from the Europa League win under Mourinho. I think we saw some stats and like all the top what are they called, like top stats for United were under Mourinho. Is it possible that the people higher up in the club are actually the ones that need the change? Obviously, we know Woodward's stepping down, but he's stepping down and moving across to another role there, so he's not really going anywhere. So it's the Glazers and the Woodward. Do you think they're the real issue at United?
Oh, I mean, they're definitely a huge part of it. Obviously, we've heard so much from Man United fans complaining about how little that they invest into the team from their own money. Obviously, I can relate as an Arsenal fan to how the Cronkies run our club. But I think, obviously the lack of communication and sort of understanding of the fans and what they want and how they want the club to be run in a good way. So I think, definitely having poor owners is always a bad thing, but it kind of depends actually, because I was going to say that doesn't translate to the football being played on the pitch, but in a way it does, because they decide the managers, they decide who goes and comes. So I do think they definitely obviously need a change in ownership, but where that's going to come from, I don't think anybody has any idea, to be honest, because it's just really, really financially difficult to find somebody who can buy Manchester United. Obviously, they're going to want a lot of money to get rid of it, because they're obviously making a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, as you said earlier on, the fact that it was a really weird time to sack Ollie, and obviously it was just out of the blue. And I mean, when you lose 4-1 to Watford as Man United, you're not going to last long as manager. But like the fact that they didn't sack him in the international break, the fact they didn't seize the opportunity that Conte was available. There's obviously a lack of experience. People saying they need to get in someone with football experience to be like the director of football. Maybe this guy Ralf Ragnick, when he takes it, will steer them in a better way. But there was the idea that bring Erik ten Hag and then also bring Edwin van der Sar, who's over at Ajax, is one of their directors at the moment. It seems to have done quite well. But it's happening a lot with football at the moment, with clubs bringing back former legends. Do you think that it's a good idea to bring back these? Obviously, we saw Ollie do it, and then there's the sentimental part of it. Obviously, Frank Lampard, it didn't work out. Steven Gerrard just returned to the Premier League, edging towards that Liverpool job eventually. Do you think it's a good idea? Because clubs don't really want to have to rely on that. Oh, look, we're great owners. We brought back this guy you used to like.
Yeah, no, it's always difficult because sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. So you've got at the minute Arteta, who I wouldn't say is a club legend, but he was our club captain at one point. So that is on and off. Still can't figure out whether that's working. Obviously, you've got Barcelona, who brought Koeman, however you say it. Obviously, that went shocking. That didn't work out. Xavi's back. That could go well. Zidane came back to Real Madrid. That obviously went amazingly for him. So yeah, I do think it obviously really depends, because I don't think you can ever, if you're a club legend, I don't think you can tarnish your legacy unless you say disrespectful things about your club. If you just can't win games, then I don't think you're tarnishing it. Obviously, it's just another thing added on that could have gone better. But yeah, I think it always adds a little bit of less pressure on a manager if you bring in a club legend, because you sort of naturally give them a bit more leeway as you have that heart for them. Whereas if it's just a newcomer, you're a bit more ruthless and you demand a bit more from them, possibly.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. Obviously, it seems like Ragnick's going to be the guy to take them over at the moment, end of the season. I'm sure the links manager-wise will continue to just keep flowing through of endless lists of names over the next few weeks. Pochettino is the main one at the moment, and basically I think at the moment PSG are going, well, we're not going to get rid of you, we're not going to pay you off and let you go. United are going to have to pay all the compensation, which is fair enough, definitely. Considering, I mean, they got rid of Thomas Tuchel and sacked him, and then he's gone and won the Champions League. So they won't really want to be spending that much money, especially if they've then got to go and get a replacement, which seems that if Pochettino leaves, it will be Zidane coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
Either way, United are going to have to pay a lot of money. They'll spend 8 million getting rid of Solskjaer and then getting rid of I think Mike Phelan, the coach, left as well with him. So United are going to be spending ridiculous amounts of money to get a manager in, because they're all the ones they're linked with are in a job. Really, really poor timing really from United. That was awful timing, as you said, to sack him. But they're now 8th in the league, 6 points off the top 4. Chelsea away on Sunday night.
Then Arsenal.
Yeah. Are you scared, or are you quite confident actually now that you could get a result?
I think I would have been more confident if they still had Ole. I think we've never lost against Man United since he's been in the job. Arteta's always done the tactical genius over him. So yeah, I will definitely see they could be in a very different situation in 2 weeks. Either they're struggling with Carrick and they're trying to desperately find a manager, or they're taking the bounce of the loss of the manager quite well, and they're getting some good form, and we could be in for a stonking if we put a bad shift in. So it honestly depends. I'll answer your question in 2 weeks' time when we're a bit closer to it.
I would also like to issue now. I feel like this is the wrong time to do it. That our predictions at the start of the season, when we all unanimously said Man United will win the league, I feel like that is the right time now to retract that statement.
Did we say that?
Yeah,
we never said that. Surely,
I said it. You said it. Adam said it.
Well, that hasn't gone well.
No,
I mean the title charge is still on.
We always have it with Man United. We made the video why Man United will not make top four. They then finish second.
And then second.
We've said they're going to win the league. They're now sixth. So no, eighth. Eighth. Sorry,
eighth. Yeah,
it's nearly as good as our powers of the Arsenal video that I did of what's going wrong at Arsenal, and then that went up, and you did really well for a while. So sorry, guys, we're going to retract the Man United for the title. Well, I definitely
Arsenal getting relegated.
Yeah. Our predictions can be a bit off, but I mean, they signed Ronaldo, and they were doing all right for the first few weeks, so you can see where we were coming from.
Yeah, they just smashed Leeds 4-1, and we were like, "Yep, Ole's at the wheel."
Yeah,
it's happening.
I'll find the tape and I'll play it now.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I'm not gonna lie, obviously being Arsenal being a London club, I don't want Chelsea to win. I'm bored of Man City winning. So if I'm honest, I actually quite like to see Man United win it. Like, obviously, I don't want them to, but I think they're definitely my preferred one out of the three to win. So yeah, I'll go for Man United as well.
From before United signed Ronaldo, I was going Chelsea, just because of how good they've been under Tuchel. But this bringing in Ronaldo is massive. I think that could possibly tip United towards it. But thank you everybody for listening. Sorry about our dodgy predictions, but hopefully we'll get to see some interesting news around United in the coming weeks. Make sure that if you are listening on or watching on YouTube, to make sure to hit the subscribe button and like the video. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow us to never miss an episode. Thank you for listening. That was The Final Whistle.